My name is Heather May Lazaro Andan from the class of Sir Bob Wessa, Humss 4, grade 11. Annabel Lee is a poem written by Edgar Allan Poe, who was known for his short stories, poems, and particularly in his tales of mystery. The reason on why I chose this poem is because I was really into the storyline, and the mystery of who Annabel Lee really is enticing. This story was the last poem he has written before he died. It was later on said that he sold the rights to the poem, and it was later on published after his death. It was rumored that the woman, Annabel Lee, was his cousin, in which he was deeply in love and invested with, or his late wife who died from sickness. A strong theme in this poem is envy. The poem is narrated by a young man who describes himself as a child. The man falls in love with a young woman named Annabel Lee, and they lived in a kingdom by the sea. The narrator and Annabel Lee are very happy and very in love. Their love for each other is so intense, in fact, that seraphim in heaven, or the angels, became jealous and murdered Annabel Lee, sending a wind that chills her to death. In the third stanza, it says, "Chilling Annabel Lee," and in the fourth stanza, it says, "Chilling and killing my Annabel Lee." It was said that she died from influenza or pneumonia because it was really known in the 19th century. Coming back, the narrator is devastated but does not give up on her love. He believes that his soul is inseparable from Annabel Lee's, that the love they had was quite different and incomparable to all the love and relationships he has had with every other woman he has loved. Every night he dreams of her and he sleeps next to her dome. I really enjoyed the line, "We loved with a love that was more than love." It shows that he really was in a level of love and he was really invested and devoted to Annabel Lee. He was lucky because he had experienced a love that every person doesn't get to experience. It amazed me on how a single person could make me feel what they were feeling within saying and providing just a set of words to justify that feeling he was gratefully and thoughtfully given at the time. And it really leaves me at awe that knowing that he really loved Annabel Lee so much, he spent his remaining time loving her and never turning away from his love for the woman named Annabel Lee. It made me feel his love and devotion, his loyalty and faithfulness, and above all, his heart. My views, recommendations, and comments. This is my favorite poem ever, and I can't and don't want anything to change about it because every little single detail about it is perfect. The words used, the amount of emotions, the distinct suppressing details of happenings, and the people and content itself. It made me realize hidden emotions that you'd have to decode in a single poem. Thus, it isn't just a poem, it's something a person wrote to make and let other people understand a certain feeling in which the other wants us to decode a feeling that he can't seem to understand, but it's really something that he knows within his heart and not his mind. He made me feel the love and grief he had for the loss of Annabel Lee. The mystery of everything made me feel the utmost importance of the whole agenda. I certainly loved and enjoyed this as a whole, and I really think that this is a worthy poem to take a stand beside William Shakespeare's works, because it's not a poem about love. It's a poem about grief. It's a poem about envy. It's a poem about love. It's a poem about Annabel Lee, and that being that speaks a whole lot of meanings, not just the author and to the narrator himself, but for the whole entire world to decode. Because love speaks in a lot of languages, it could have a different meaning, a different definition for every single one, but to the narrator, to the child, his idea of love is Annabel Lee.